with the GoodFellaz Show. We doing this for you each and every week. We here talking about everything that needs to be talked about, whether it's politics, sports, whatever, man. We here to address it. Whatever's going on in the world, the GoodFellaz is here for y'all, talking that talk, bringing that real conversation and real talk to everybody who need it. It's your boy Tommy Gunz, alongside my man Big A. What up?
What's going on, everybody out there? Shout out to you. Check it out, the recap with the GoodFellaz. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We like to know what you feel about our topics. We like to interact. We do a lot of interaction on our Instagram, our Facebook, and also our YouTube channel, which you're watching the show on. You make sure you tune in. And remember, anything is possible.
Come on!
Happy Black History Month. Shout out to my man Shah Montana, aka the priest, the prophet, the goon. What's good?
What's good? What's popping?
And last but not least, my man, Heritage Hip Hop's own Karev Yah, representing for the culture as always. What's the deal?
Shout out to everybody watching the recap with the GoodFellaz. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, we're celebrating Black History Month on this show, and we like to know, who do you highlight for Black History Month?
No doubt, man. Speaking of that, yo, shout out to everybody out there. It's officially Black History Month. You know we got to represent. We hope you're out there representing, and it doesn't matter what culture, race you are, man. You got to represent. Right now is Black History Month, but every day should be Black History Month. So all that being said, we are talking Black History Month, and we are talking about who are the new Black History Month heroes. Let's keep it real. We know Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, all of that. You know, like, those are the well-known. They're pop culture right now, no matter who you are, where you're from, you know, they get talked about. But there are hundreds and thousands, if not millions, of people playing their role, heroes out there who have played their part, man. So we're talking, who are the new heroes for Black History Month? The GoodFellaz, we're going to give our picks. They might be somebody recent, somebody recently, you know, who's been doing their thing and represent. It could be somebody from the past who hasn't gotten mentioned or hasn't got the limelight they should have. It could be whatever. So we're going to give our picks. So that being said, Big A, let me throw the question your way. We know, you know, the classics, we know the OGs, but who will we consider some of the newer Black History Month heroes? And if they're not currently being talked about, what additions should we make that deserve that light?
Okay, there was an actual inventor who worked with Thomas Edison. And because of his inventions, he has a lot of inventions, but there's one in particular he didn't get the credibility that Thomas Edison actually took and got famous for, and that was the light bulb. The fluorescent light bulb was actually created not by Thomas Edison. It was actually a black gentleman by the name of Howard Louis Latimer, who created the actual light bulb and the fluorescence that goes into the light bulb. He created the full light bulb, in which we actually still use to this very day. He had a lot of inventions that he did, and a lot of patents that actually wasn't stolen from him. But the main one that would have put him on the map, Thomas Edison took, because he was a part of the scientific panel that worked with Thomas Edison. Instead of giving him the credit that he rightfully deserved, and you can look the man up. His name is Howard Louis Latimer. He actually created the light bulb. And that was my old school throwback. You can Google that, man. You Google that name. My new person to put on the Black History calendar will be Lebron James. LeBron James is a philanthropist, and he gives back to his communities, from the communities in Cleveland to the communities even down in Miami, where he was, you know, previously as a NBA star, to even the communities in LA. He is a full philanthropist, and he is about community. He's about setting roots wherever he is and helping out the community where he's around. And I think, regardless of how you feel about him as an NBA star, for somebody to have the clout that he has, the power that he has, and to sit in the seats that he has, in the offices that he's around, the people that he influences outside of the basketball court, and to use his power and his money to help out people who need it, I think that's something that should be recognized.
Come on!
Outside of basketball, you know, you have a lot of people who make a lot of money who don't look on the less fortunate, or they may use it as a tax write-off, where he's a person who actually feels, and he's known for going back and interacting with, like, he set up a school in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he set up fundraisers in different areas like in Miami and LA. He's been doing things right now currently. So he's not just a person of just gain of gander with his money, but he's also about helping, and he's definitely about the Black community too.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't mean to cut you off, but honestly, he's one of those few stars who not involved in a lot of scandals. You don't hear, you know, oh my God, he knocked some girl up, or, you know, his whole career more or less has been, you know, drama free. And, you know, it's one thing if you don't like him because he beat your favorite team or whatever, but pretty much lived an exemplary career, and you got to respect that.
You get a lot of people that try to fake it out in the media, but when you have somebody that's sincere, that's generally sincere about seeing people succeed in life, especially in the Black community, I think it's a beautiful thing. That's why I picked LeBron James.
That's what's up, man. Those are both two dope additions. There's so many people out there. We need to talk more about their stories. You know, there's a lot of stories out there that need to be heard. As the kid, it's a different generation, so you need new heroes that appeal to the kids, you know? So those are both two dope choices. Shah Montana, I'm gonna throw the question your way. Who are some of the new heroes that deserve acknowledgement for Black History Month, in your opinion?
Man, honestly, bro, like, there's so many that we don't even know all their names. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out there giving back to the community, uplifting their people. You know, Big A named the great one, LeBron James. Right now, whether it's genuine or not, I think Brian Flores can be looked at as a hero right now, because he's shedding light to the way African Americans are treated in the NFL. And like I said, whether I don't know these days, unfortunately, even when, you know, you got people doing heroic stuff, you have to question motive a lot of times, or in character. But at the very least, a lot of awareness is being brought. Another recent hero, and Tommy, you're gonna like this, is Colin Kaepernick.
That's what I was thinking, more so than Brian. I feel like Colin Kaepernick, now that we're a few years removed from the controversy, because you know what I mean, like sometimes, like when you're in the midst of the controversy and this person's saying this, sometimes you got to stand back and kind of. But now it's been a couple of years, we can see the struggle and the fight and what he was able to accomplish, and you're absolutely right.
I mean, yeah, you're right. More Colin Kaepernick than I think in a few years though, Brian Flores' sacrifice is going to be looked at much more substantially.
Colin Kaepernick for sure. Yo, he is, not to interrupt you, but I would say by many of the youth, like Colin Kaepernick is one of the faces of Black History Month by a lot of the kids today, you know, other than, like I said, the OGs are the OGs. But when you think of somebody who's been out there, you know, kind of fighting in the face of the struggle, Colin Kaepernick is definitely got to be on a short list for those people.
Yeah, and some people try to say that he wasn't genuine either, saying that, oh, he was getting paid by Nike the whole time. But you got to understand something. That's one of the most hated men in America, Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, the conservatives, like, he just recently made the news for getting heckled at I think a basketball game.
Yeah.
He wants to play football. Nobody will hire him to play football, despite the fact that he has demonstrated he still can play. He should have been a Giant this year. I think he would have been better than Jake Fromm and Mike Glennon. You know what I'm saying? Like, Colin Kaepernick, man, like the way he sacrificed doing what he loves. And like I said, much like Brian Flores, you know, he's probably never going to coach in the NFL again. These are people that have given up their because what it is a lot of times they make you trade your integrity for your dreams. You know.
And this is the thing with intent. You brought up a good point, like intent. They're like, yeah, it's intent. Listen, if you're doing something that has benefited a culture, a country, people, a neighborhood, whatever, if you've done something to better people's lives, to help, to inspire, intention is relative. Because on the one hand, this country's like, yo, Abraham Lincoln, like, yo, this and that. Yeah, he freed the slaves. They don't want to speak about intention there. Intention is relative. You know, did you do the good deed? Did you do something? You know what I mean? You know, it's up to debate and speculation as to why. You know, so and sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you're guessing, sometimes you're hating. Sometimes let the good deed, let the accomplishment, let whatever, like nobody cares why you invented something as long as you invented something. You know, like 9 times out of 10, you invent something for money. Does that take away the accomplishment? No.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, it's one thing if you're hypocritical and doing this and then talking shit that kind of reflects negatively on it elsewhere, but you know, ain't nobody here, you know, intention is relative and that's a little too close to hating. So stop being a hater, man. Let these cats shine.
Yeah.
Public service announcement, of course. You know, that's what's up, man. Okay, so we got Colin Kaepernick. Anybody else? I'm surprised you didn't mention either Project Pat or Future.
I mean, hey, the 2 greatest rappers that ever lived.
What? Are they honorable mentions? Can Project Pat be an honorable mention for Black History Month?
Oh, I don't celebrate Black. First of all, why is it Black History Month in freaking February, the shortest month of the year? You know, let's
you know
talk
why.
about that.
You know why.
But yeah, I mean, Project Pat, Future.
Okay, no man.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, we're gonna have to have the conversation of just hip hop.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, it was a fad, it was a trend, whatever. But here we are, 40 years later, and this art form has made how many billions of dollars and uplifted how many people out of poverty and improved improved how many lives, say what you want to say about the content, whatever.
Yeah.
At some point, we're going to have to address hip hop as, you know what I mean? I don't know if we're quite ready for that conversation yet and who we would, give them flowers to or whatever, but we got to acknowledge hip hop. In the last century, has there been a more influential, it's a culture, it's not even music, maybe not this year, but we're gonna have to come back to hip hop, man, because that deserves special acknowledgement. And that means like the founders and hip hop, man, to this day deserves some type of acknowledgement. But we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, Shah, those are definitely good picks. And the bonus picks of Project Pat and Future also good looks. So
Juicy J.
Oh, can't forget Juicy J.
What? Project Pat brother.
Oh, can't forget that, man. On the Mount Rushmore of Black History Month, they got to be somewhere on there. But, all right, shout out to my man Shah Montana. So I'm gonna throw this question to Heritage Hip Hop's own Karev Yah. In your opinion, who are some of the newer heroes that should be acknowledged for Black History Month? They could be somebody recent. They could be somebody from the past who just hasn't got their proper shine. In your opinion, who are some of the new heroes that need to be acknowledged? What you think?
Well, I take Black History Month very seriously. So I got a list for you.
Okay.
It ain't gonna be long, but I got a list for you. My favorite person to study during Black History Month, I'm gonna give a shout out to Fannie Lou Hamer. That's a person who I think we don't really acknowledge enough for Black history. And we don't really talk about the ladies much. We have already whitewashed Martin Luther King Jr. Malcolm X had a movie, so everybody knew about X's and Revolution, Arrested Development and all that. But we were really not learning Black History Month. So one person who always stood out to me is Fannie Lou Hamer. So if you don't know who Fannie Lou Hamer is, y'all do your homework. She's one of the dopest stories of survival that we should know. A woman who was made sterile because of her skin color. And instead of letting society beat her down physically or mentally, she took her emotional pain and made it a movement to fight for all people in the South until her death. Shout out to New Jersey. I'm gonna give a shout out to Wallace Brown, who is an African American man who founded some of the most heinous criminals for the United States government and got an award from the President of the United States. Wallace Brown is from Westfield, New Jersey. It's also my uncle. And he's someone who got commended by the United States government for his work for the government. That was a big thing in Westfield, New Jersey, and they honor him every year. And he even is very active in the community with the Elks Lodge, with the doing things with children in the elder community and bridging gaps. So my uncle was somebody who you may read a book about him one day for what he did for this country. You know what I'm saying? Those are people I think we should add into Black History Month. Now, as far as contemporaries who we have today, who I believe we should talk about for Black History Month, I got a couple names for you. Roland Martin, someone who took podcasting to another level by starting his own news company and made it into a network to give news from a standard that's very not only education based, but Roland Martin's one of the people I look to for inspiration for media. Come on! So he's one. Another person I would give is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because think about his leadership with the Nation of Islam for how long it's been. And no matter what they've ever tried to do to that man, his integrity always stayed the same. We talked about hip hop earlier. Who's been the most vocal person to start peace movements within hip hop? But the Nation of Islam, under his tutelage. So I give him a lot of respect. So he's somebody. Rizza Islam, right now he's going against the mandates and things like that. I give him props because he has a book called Message to the Millennials, which takes after Elijah Muhammad's Message to the Black Man. Very good book for everybody out there who has children. Read it yourself, and if you like it, because as a parent, you should always vet anything your children see. Read it yourself and then pass it off to your children if you deem it worthy to help them in life so they don't get trapped up by the things that's going on out here in the world. Hip hop wise, there's a couple people who we should put in there hip hop. Everybody's gonna say Jay-Z, Queen Latifah, LL Cool J or something like that. And yeah, no doubt, they could be there. I'm not gonna lie to you. How about Chuck D? How about KRS-One? How about Curtis Blow? I think let's start with KRS-One. KRS-One has the most extensive catalog out of any hip hop artist. He's the one person who took hip hop on his back. And most people was clowning him saying, I am hip hop. And how can he be hip hop? But to be 23 to 24 albums deep into hip hop and still tour, still do the music, still teach, still do lectures, and go to that next level with making it an education process, not just the music and albums, I give him that respect. I give Curtis Blow and Chuck D respect because this past week, they brokered a deal with SAG, which is the Actors Guild. And they now are moving to have health insurance and life insurance for all MCs and artists who sign to major labels. So like the actors have a union, they're actually trying to, or they're not doing, they're actually doing is unionizing hip hop. So these artists have some type of life insurance, some type of union to help them with, life's ills after the industry. You see what I'm saying? How many people have gone through history talking about they had bad deals and the label's not doing something for them, but it took two artists from the 80s who are still fighting to restructure people's deals so the elder artists who did not have streaming in their contracts cannot get paid when they get streamed, because that stuff went straight to the label, not to the artists. They're fighting for that. They're fighting for life insurance. Think about that, life insurance and unions and stuff for artists so they can get paid royalties, whether they're alive or dead. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? We could always say Nas and Jay-Z. Like I said, I'm not saying we shouldn't give credence to them, because when you're young and you look at Black history, you look at the people who making moves. Most people will look at the people who are in entertainment as a move maker, but there's people who are not looking to entertain your ass, that's looking at saving your souls. So I really want to give salute to those people. And last but not least, Shah took one of my answers, which was Brian Flores. You know what I'm saying? Because that case is going to change how sports is looked at when it comes to the hiring of people.
That's what's up. Shout out to Karev Yah of Heritage Hip Hop. Definitely bringing you that unique perspective and making you think. It's your boy Tommy Gunz. Real quick, I got a couple of names to throw in the pot. First things first. I think when you guys mentioned before, we haven't said a whole lot of female names. We got to give it up for Venus and Serena Williams. With the success of their movie that just came out and then everything, these ladies, in their heyday, which is only very recently, they were so dominant in the world of tennis that literally if one of them wasn't champion, the other one was. Literally, like their only competition was each other. They were that dominant. They beat all competition. For a while, they were listed. It was them or nothing, you know? But let's not act like, the thing is, you know, if you go into their family history, there's a good movie out right now. I think it's King Richard. Although I haven't seen it, produced by Will Smith, who should be in that conversation as well. But it wasn't like they're like some prep school girls who, like they're from the hood, you know? And if watch that movie, it breaks down the struggle, not only just of them, but of their family and their parents who put them in that position. We got to give it up for Venus and Serena Williams. It's got to be especially hard being a female in addition to being somebody of color. And what they were able to do in the sport as a family and individually in the world of sports, unheard of. Before them, I mean, you know, other than Arthur Ashe, tennis has pretty much been a white sport. But they dominated to the point where now when you think of it, you think multicultural now about tennis. It could be anybody. It's not just that Russian chick anymore. You know what I mean? It's not just that Swedish dude. Now you think of tennis and you're like, yo, they changed everybody's whole optics on the sport and just their whole story. I said, watch that movie, King Richard, as well, to get a different perspective and see them growing up. Just a great example of family and success and females doing their thing. So Serena and Venus Williams definitely need to be mentioned more in that light. Another one, this is kind of obvious, but I think it's time. Barack Obama. He went from, wow, the first black president, like, you know, when he was there, they're like, let's see how he does. Let's see how it goes. But now that we're a president and a half later, we see what a great job he did. He was able to bring stability and just not only swagger, but just a calming presence in the role of president. And that to me really is half the battle. Being president, you don't really do too much shit. The country doesn't change with so much. You're not really enacting too many laws. You're the figurehead. You're the guy who kind of talks to everybody and can either make them feel better about the American experience or worse. We saw an example of worse just a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? So leadership, half the battle is just talking to the people, making them feel like, all right, cool. This is going to work. This is going to happen. Optimism. Yo, you know what I'm saying? We've seen the opposite effect, like I said, with Trump and how bad he just made the country feel. So the fact just to see what Obama did, and to this day, you see him speak and you hear him talk, and it's just refreshing. Somebody who's using sentences that consist of more than 4 words, and he's intelligent, he's well-spoken, but he's got that swagger. And I mean, he'll talk about hip hop. At the same time, he'll talk about Russia and the Cold War. So, you know, I think now that it's been a few years later and we see what other presidents have to bring to the table, nah, man, let Obama get his props, man, because first of all, who knows the next time we're going to see a person of color in the White House. But the fact that when he was there, he made the country just seem a little bit calmer and a little more sane. Now, I don't know. It wasn't as bad as it was, but like I said, at post-Obama, we see the state of our country now. You know what I mean? And especially 4 years of Trump, we saw how crazy it could get. So just after seeing Trump, it made me realize what a great job Obama did. So we got to talk more about that, because I feel like that deserves, I mean, yeah, there's been a couple movies on him, but there hasn't been that definitive movie that really breaks it down. I can't wait to see that. And last but not least, a real Black History Month hero. We can't go no further unless we acknowledge this man, Master P. I'm serious. My man, Master P. You know what I mean? We're going to bring in hip hop.
Yes.
My man lived 4 or 5 different American dreams in his lifetime. He came from the projects. He was a drug dealer. Then he was a rapper. He played basketball. He owned a record label. Now he has cereal and stuff in the stores. He put his son on. He put his family on. He's always been about creating Black-owned businesses and get correct with your business game and your business knowledge, not only in hip hop, but just in business, period. The lessons and the jewels that he dropped over the year, back in the day, we saw the little shiny album covers, you know what I'm saying? We're like, oh man, come on, Master P. You know what I mean? But stepping back and looking like, yo, my man actually played on a professional NBA team. It wasn't just like, all right, man, I'm gonna go do my thing on the Newark Bears, or whatever, whatever, like B team. Like, yo, he lived 4 or 5 of all of our dreams, man. You gotta respect him. He didn't go to business school. He didn't go to Harvard. My man was from he was so from the projects. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at early interviews of him, man, you better give him his flowers. You better acknowledge Master P. He changed the game. He changed the way Black entrepreneurs and Black label owners and CEOs operated. He inspired, let's keep it 100, Cash Money. He inspired even Jay-Z and all of them. Not to say they weren't on similar paths, but he laid the blueprint for a lot of the modern day CEOs of hip hop to this day. Matter of fact, he's got I think like Master P, like ramen noodles. You know what I mean? Nobody's saying everything he does is a success, but to see him with the entrepreneurial spirit and the hustle, somebody from the projects who's like, nah, man, we gonna make this happen. And to this day, getting it popping.
Yes.
Let's keep it 100.
Also, I want to put a major shout out to Sayjin. He brought up Akon. Akon is also somebody to be recognized and respected.
Yes.
He also he not only is he a successful businessman, entrepreneur, but he also is a person who also gives back to the community, to his community where he's from in Africa. He brought electricity, solar electricity to almost millions.
Self-sustainable,
yeah, electricity out in Africa in a barren area. And so first of all, it's amazing that he was able to get the government to agree to this. Yeah. And then on top of that, being able to be literally a blessing to people who would have never thought they would ever have electricity where they live at. And it's a beautiful thing. So he's someone to definitely to put in the category of Black history, because he not only did it musically, but he did it as a philanthropist. Yeah. And I think it's something that it's overlooked because it's not in America, but it's something that was very impactful, and that's going to be very impactful for generations to come.
That's actually a great pick. Sayjin said Chadwick Boseman.
Yep. Yeah.
Yo, and I agree. I mean, first of all, rest in peace. He died way too young. But Black Panther culturally inspired so many. I mean, being a Black superhero is a powerful thing. And although it's fiction, sometimes inspiration is a powerful thing. And not to mention, he was a great actor who's played many amazing roles other than that. But I just remember the whole Black Panther movement, like that whole wave was like nothing we ever saw or ever expected when we first heard the movie was coming out.
Yeah, and I want to also say that he didn't pick random roles. He picked roles that were impactful to the Black community. The people that he wanted to, or that he portrayed in the movies, were people who had impact, whether it was music, entertainment, or sports.
Jackie Robinson.
He did it all just to have, or even fictionized in Black Panther, but he took upon roles that he felt that were respectful and that was dignified, so people of his complexion can watch and have the same feeling that he felt about the person that he learned from, that they can watch a movie and have a story, or understanding of whether it was a fictional character or a person of reality of history. He wanted to make people to understand that you can be dignified. You don't have to have the quote unquote urban role, the drug dealer, the ignorant person. So, unfortunately, his career ended very early, but man, it would have been great to see him do a lot more movies. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, but he was definitely somebody to be recognized in Black History Month.
Yeah. And I also want to add that he did a lot of that, a lot of the brilliant and beautiful and great things that he did. A lot of that he did while fighting cancer.
I was just about to say his work ethic was amazing. Like, literally, if you didn't know until like his passing, you wouldn't have known, because he was working the whole time. A whole generation of kids, not just kids, but you know what I mean, but just the youth now have a different perspective on the world based on the movies he acted in. And that's a powerful thing to inspire the youth. It's a powerful thing, man. Yo, great picks, everybody. Yo, shout out to everybody tuned in right now to the Recap with the Goodfellas show. We hope you like some of our picks. Feel free to research some of these people and some of their names, and make sure you leave a comment. Let us know who we forgot, who you think should be in addition to our unsung heroes and modern day heroes. We want to hear it, man. Hit us on the Instagram, hit us on the YouTube, Facebook. You already know how we do with the videos. Every week dropping new content. So make sure you like, subscribe, share the videos, and any future ideas for the shows. We want all that. Shout out to everybody tuned in right now. On behalf of the Goodfellas, happy Black History Month. And until next week, you already know what it is.
Like the power.
Peace.